Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. And we just received the news that fishing is coming and testing is starting today. So that's some good news. There is a lot of balancing stuff. Uh, may show you, I think I will show you briefly. I will show you briefly all the notes that we just received. I was not able to yet dive deep into those. I would certainly record a video later about the phishing update and so on, as this is coming. So the update should be now available on public test server. I think maybe even tomorrow on the live stream I will go and try the phishing and all the new stuff instead of playing a regular live game version. Try the phishing stuff. Maybe fun. Yes, so update definitely available on the Steam. I can see it now. I'm just not starting it yet, as that would probably crash the stream. So not starting it yet, but I will dive in soon. I know we missed the last week stuff as I was off and unable to live stream or do anything. But now I'm back. So I see the notes. Okay, found it. So I can show you that straight away. Oh, Nautical Stew, thank you a lot for extending your membership in Turtle's Army. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. So let's open those notes. The phishing update. Change this camera. This one, yes. So as you can see, the new mysterious figure appears on this screen from the latest update. Inside the vault, fishing in Appalachia public test server. So yes, it is coming. Fishing patch. So yes, it was real. So all those hints about fishing had a purpose. We don't know everything yet, so definitely testing will be needed what this fishing update enticed. As for this moment, they do mention some mysteries and stuff, and the basic rule is that everywhere where you can swim, you will be able to fish as well. What's the whole point of fishing? We don't exactly know. Probably some kind of collectibles. Plus, on top of that, food buffs. Obviously, there would be a food buffs. But okay, bait and weather. So weather will be affecting what you can catch. There would be 3 different types of a bait for fishing. Super bait, improved bait, common bait, and that would affect what you can catch. Weather will affect what you can catch, including your camp weather machine that's listed in here. That camp weather machine will affect the same way. So if you build your camp next to a lake, you can change what can be found inside the lake with your weather machine, which is interesting twist and probably means that it was not a good idea for me to skip some of those weather machines, as I don't have them all, as I didn't feel like I need them. And what you can do with fish. So of course you can eat them directly, but you can also turn fish into fish bits. So fish bits, I don't know if that's like a new currency or just ingredient. Okay, let's dive in on this part. When you obtain a fish by fishing or trading with players, you immediately learn the recipe to convert that fish into fish bits at a cooking station. Fish bits can restore small amount of hunger health on their own, but that's not the best way to utilize this new material. When at a cooking station, you will notice a new food recipe. The grilled fish recipe becomes available after completing the new fishing quest. When eaten, it provides you with an effect that reduces the time to hook a fish for 20 minutes, which is perfect because you are about to do a whole lot of fishing. So eat the fish to improve your fishing. Like, not really sure if I'm getting the point. Maybe I'm missing something. completing fishing daily quests will give you the chance to earn other food recipes that utilize fish bits, such as fish and tato and fish chowder. There's one other location where you can use fish bits. Remember Lindali? If you feed Lindali fish bits, she will give you a random legendary item. Just don't ask where it came from. So yeah, fishing. I'm not exactly sure what's the main point of fishing. Is it just obtaining a new food items? But what they will do, like they didn't list any buffs from food, so I don't know what those fish food, what fish food gonna do. They do mention there is a lot of aquatic life for you to find out in the wild of Appalachia, glowing fish included, different variants, and some kind of 12 adorable axolots, whatever those are. One of these glorious amphibians will be available for you to catch every month throughout the year. So it's look like each month we'll be able to catch something different, special. But what then? We cook it, or that's some kind of collectible? I'm lost. So I will definitely need to figure out maybe tomorrow what those fishes will be doing. Like, is it the point like collecting them or cooking them, or what's the point? I always like to know that. I know it's cool that we can fish, but there definitely is some kind of a point. Planting the catch. Completing fishing challenges and dailies will reward you with new camp items along with upgrades for your fishing rod. One of these items is a curved fish display, so you can show off that rare local legend or axolot you were able to catch. So definitely we'll be able to display them. So for collectibles like a Pokemons, maybe those are like a Pokemons. We'll be just collecting different fish until we catch them all and display all the fish in the camp. So we'll see. There is a lot of changes. So limb damage crippling changes. That's just a quick look on the combat. There would be no more instant crippling. They will be all replaced with limb damage. I don't know why Bashers is in here. Is that a nerf to the Bashers perk? Will that provide limb damage now instead of bashing damage? It would be really bad. Like, there's a lot of perks being reworked. So Enforcer, Modern Renegade, they all limb damage. I mean, Modern Renegade is already limb damage, so I don't know why it's listed again. But One Gun Army, they all getting just a limb damage. Tormentor is interesting after those latest changes, as you will deal more damage per crippled limb your target has. So imagine 5 limbs on the target crippled and you double your damage output versus this particular target. So some interesting changes to the crippling. I don't know if it's overall positive, negative. That time will tell. It may go either way. But with the changes to those perks and showcasing like you can do more damage now based on crippled limbs, I think it will be overall positive. We'll see. So no more chance to cripple on dragons. So no more insta killing of the shield on the guardian with the dragon. It will take a little bit more now. They're removing all those insta cripple effects. Just extra limb damage now for my dragon. So dragon will not do that anymore. Then that's a good change. Enemies no longer immune to crippling. So with those changes, like they taking away the instant crippling, but restoring crippling to enemies normally immune. So for example, Imposta Ship Squad, you will be able to cripple him again. Ogwa, Blue Devil, and more. Like there is a whole list. So basically there will be no enemies immune to crippling. Every enemy you will be able to cripple. Then lots of perk balancing. From the least important, like related to how food satisfy your hunger, I don't know how important those changes are at all. I don't know a single person actually using those. Therefore, yeah, I don't know. But there are some more important changes too. So travel agent, that's a big one. Travel agent. Now you can fast travel way over cucumber at increased cost. So this one's big. This one big. Like you equip travel agent and you can fast travel over encumbered. That will be currently on public test server. Yes, public test server is starting just now. Eventually it will be on the live game version, but first it will be tested. It's always like that, by the way, if you knew. It's always tested first on public test server, and then it's going to the live. Now, I don't know what they're doing with Doji. Sounds like a straight up nerf for the Doji. As evade now cost AP and no longer has a cooldown, unless they made to change evade perk and not Doji. As Doji never had a cooldown and it was just a fixed amount of action points to achieve damage reduction, the description doesn't make sense in regards of Doji, so maybe it's about evade perk. Maybe it's about evade. As they are increasing the cost from 1 to 2, and Doji was always 3 points max out, so I think they made a typo here that's supposed to be evade perk, which would make sense, because Doji being changed like that doesn't make sense. But with added AP cost, I don't think anyone will be using evade. Do you want more perks that burn you action points? I don't think so. Adrenaline, rank 1 now. Gain plus 10% damage for 30 seconds per kill. What's the cap? I don't know. Again, not listed. There is only one rank now for Adrenaline. But does it stack still to 60% like it used to, or is it 10% and that's it? Then science perks are all being reworked. But look at this interesting mechanic now. Increase energy damage based on your intelligence. So that will be the first perk scaling with your special and directly boosting your damage. The expert will be fire damage and the master will be cryo damage. Poison damage not included. The first one is energy damage. So for some reason, energy, fire, cryo. Poison, I don't know. Not on the list. Makeshift warrior, only 3 ranks now. The same about the gunsmith, only 3 ranks, which is good. Like those perks definitely had way too many ranks for what they do. White Knight is being moved to intelligence. And look what's happening with Rifleman. Rifleman, no longer for weapon damage. It's now completely new. Do 20% range damage to far enemies. So those are completely new. It's look like we have less and less weapon-specific perks and more like special functions for them, which is quite cool, I need to say. Rifleman Expert. Scope weapons have 50% more range when aiming. Rifleman Master. 25% weak spot damage while aiming a scoped weapon. Curious if that's gonna work in VATS. You know, it's description says no, but we have experience with descriptions saying no and stuff working otherwise. So we'll see. Sniper. So that's similar what it was. Just cheaper. So sniper just rank 1 now. Long shot. More range and accuracy way aiming. Scope weapons. And again, rank 1 only. Commando. So Commando is being affected too. Rank 3, 75% range damage when targeting the torso. So Commando for the torso. A lot of damage increase, but torso only affected. Commando Expert. Your movement speed bonus is also applied to your reload speed. I don't exactly know how that's gonna work. Will that go above the cap for the movement speed? I don't know. Commando Master. Weapon damage is increased by AP cost. What that exactly means, I'm not sure. It sounds interesting. So more AP cost, more damage. What's the scaling? Doesn't say anything. It's just that damage is increased by AP cost. So we don't know exactly. Ground Pounder will now apply to all small guns. So the same effect, but all small guns. Skeet Shooter, improve accuracy and spread, again, all small guns. So currently it seems like classification goes from very specific different weapons to heavy guns or small guns. There's two type of guns, big and small. Shotgunner, 75% range damage to crippled targets. So a lot of damage, the target needs to be crippled first. That's the Shotgunner. Shotgunner Expert, weapons that fire 3 or more projectiles gain 30% range. So that to help compensate for lack of range on shotguns, I'm guessing. Shotgunner Master, each projectile your weapon fires increases your damage against crippled targets by 10%. So what does it mean? Like in case of weapons with a lot of projectile, I see like single barrel pepper shaker here in mind. So 16 projectiles. If I have 16 projectiles per shot, will that increase my damage by 160% against crippled targets? That would be quite substantial, to be honest. Scatter shot. 20% of the damage dealt to a limb is applied to all limbs on your target. So you can cripple target entirely by shooting it in just one spot. It does look like it's the case. You can be shooting the torso, but you can cripple everything. As 20% of the damage will be spread out to other limbs. Moving target, 15% chance to evade while sprinting. No power armor, no mention about cooldown or draining your action points. So hopefully no cooldown and no drain. Maybe. Goat legs, now rank 1 and no falling damage at all. Blood sacrifice, that's new. Like, I don't think there is perk in existence that it's being reworked. It's just a new perk. At least that's how it sounds. So max out, using action point in VATS now consumes health instead at 50% more cost. So let's say firing a weapon cost 10 action points. That would translate into 15 hit points being taken from your health bar directly when firing a weapon. Is that better? I mean, it could be combined with vampire weapon to instantly refill your health when you are firing in that, so you are consuming and refilling your health. That may be interesting, the blood sacrifice. It would make weapons firing for free, basically. Replenishing your health with a vampire effect and consuming health to fire in VATS, therefore firing continuously. That's like alternative to going with conductors 4-star legendary, so you will not need conductors. You just switch a prefix to vampire and then you can use pinpointers on the 4-star and still achieve endless VATS. Oh yeah, Blood Sacrifice was a legendary perk, so maybe that is a legendary perk being reworked. Yeah, that's true. So there is, yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah, there is a Blood Sacrifice legendary perk that currently is absolutely useless, as that provides teammates health regeneration when you die. So no one is using that, as you don't want to die. So you may be right. Yeah, they're probably talking about the legendary perk card in this case. Now, yeah, legendary mods are being touched too. So Nocturnal is damage while cloaked. So that's new. Not a lot. It's 25% damage while cloaked. Still no one gonna use it. Just a new dead effect on arrival unless they decide to do something else. But there are some interesting ones. Blooded is going up to 130% at the peak. So not 95, but 130. I don't know exactly how the scaling will be now, since that's quite an odd number, but that will be the maximum damage. When you are at 5% health, Blooded will max out at 130%. But what I like even more is Junkies. Junkies is going up to 100%. That will finally make Junkies usable. They say they are removing the limit, increasing the limit. That would probably require like every single every single addiction in the game in order to achieve the cap. Do we even have possibility to get 10 addictions? I would need to Google that later. I don't even know if we can have a 10 addictions to get 100%. Maybe scaling will be changed too. I don't know. I will need to test Junkies at some point. 100% is very respectable, and that would make it a useful prefix. Resilient now increases all resistances while reloading by 500. Two-shot is going up to 75%, but now my question is, are they tinkering again with launchers or just straight up buff? If that's going up to 75, and if mechanic is being unchanged, that would mean 175% damage increase for launchers with two-shot. I don't know if that's the case. Stalkers has a new effect, sneak attack damage by 100%. So that's for sneaking, which makes sense. Mutants a little bit up, Gormans a little bit up. That's optimized, so that's less AP cost is being boosted. Like this one I'm still confused about. That's the strongest 3-star for most weapons. They are buffing the strongest one, but from the other hand, they're buffing Blooded too. So I don't know. Maybe that's intended. Maybe that's intended. Hitman's new effect. So Hitman's can jump on the top spot, assuming it's still multiplicative effect, as it will be giving 25% weak spot damage while aiming. That's huge. If that's multiplicative effect, so Hitman's would be able to finally push a non-VATS build into very respectable power level with just this 25% weak spot damage bonus. Is that the case? We'll see. I don't want to praise them too much before I test, because that may be a really good idea, but assuming there is no hidden nerfs to come with it. Instigating is a nerf, unfortunately. So instigating 50% damage against targets above 60% health. So no more 100% damage. That was for one-shot weapons, that used to be, and now it's just a slight damage increase if target is above 60% health, unless there is one possibility. If that works like reverse executioners, executioners is multiplicative. So if instigating would be multiplicative 50% for targets above 60% health, then it would be a buff. So I cannot really tell you if that's a buff or a nerf, because that depends how they implementing the math behind it, how it will be calculated. So generally the idea with those damage increases in the past was to make everything additive, to make it streamlined. It never really happened. We still have multiplicative and additive bonuses. It's just more additive and less multiplicative now, but there are still two types. So I don't know which type of this 50% it will be, as that's huge difference. 50% additive, rubbish. 50% multiplicative, number one spot. So that's the difference. That's the difference how you calculate. It's either rubbish or the best effect. So we'll see. Juggernauts is interesting now. scales with your HP directly, not a percentage. No idea why this particular choice, but okay, I get it. I will buy it. Increase the cap to 100% at 1000 health. 1000 health, as you may figure out, is not easy to achieve, even with temporary booster. So this 100% damage bonus, it's not particularly achievable. Most of my characters is running with health between, depend on the build, of course, but between 5 and 700 health. That's the usable range that most of my character is running with. Therefore, for my characters, it would cap at 70% bonus damage and not 100, as 100 requires 1000 health, which is quite a target, I need to say. But nevertheless, huge buff to Juggernauts. Don't forget, Juggernauts was capped at 25% or 24 was that. So whatever it is, like even 500 health is already 50%. So that will be way better than current 24% for Juggernauts. So that's a buff. Mutations. Adrenal reaction will just copy now the adrenal perk. Therefore, damage per kill. So damage bonus per kill, again, not listing any cap. There is definitely some kind of a cap. We just don't know what that is. Oh yes, Rascal saying, if glow would count for Juggernauts, then it would be easy to achieve 1000, yes. If glow would count. But glow do not really count with any other effect, so I don't know. Workbench stuff. Some guns finally moved to heavy gun category. Took a while, but it's a welcome chance. Fusion cores moved to Tinker's Bench, another welcome change. And the most important, you can now repair items that are already at 100% health if you have the perks to over repair, which is extremely important as we have this 4-star legendary effect that gives you more damage the more condition weapon has, and the condition only counts above 100%. So weapon at 100% for this 4-star legendary is very useless. You need to have more. Therefore, that's a great change, as we'll be able to go and fix the weapons that are at, let's say, 120, 130% to 200, just to top up for the damage purposes. And look at that. Quick heal priority setting. Finally, it looks like we'll be able to decide that we want the good stim packs to be used first and not the diluted ones that barely work when you press the button and then you're dead. And you're dying with 500 super stims in your inventory just because you pick up one diluted stim somewhere. So yeah, that's a very welcome change. I will instantly set my super stims to be consumed first. If I press a heal button, I want it to hit hard. So super stims, please. The fast travel cost reduction. Okay, welcome. I don't even know why, but okay. Thank you for the cost reduction. And lastly, a big one, like the big ones are at the end, bulk item pickup. When looting from nearby corpses, items of the same type will now be lumped into one item to allow for bulk pickups. So those are some really big changes. Long notes, I know, but I wanted to show you that straight away. And Potichap, thank you a lot for extending your membership in Tertus Army. Appreciate that, Potichap. So a lot of changes in there, as you might tell, mostly good ones. So I'm quite okay. I'm cautiously happy about those changes that we are reading about. I still need to test them to see if they actually good, if there is no tricks. Like at first they say everything will be super great, and then you start testing it, and it is not. So I will hold my final opinion until we'll be able to test it. Oh, the last point about looting, what does it mean? Like, for example, if you area loot multiple enemies and they drop like 556 ammo. So instead of this ammo being in 10 different small stacks, it will be one big stack for 556 ammo. And the same, if enemies drop, let's say, 10 pieces of adhesive, it will not be like 10 different positions with adhesive. When you area loot, it will be just adhesive 10 and you can pick clicking once. That's what they mean, which is huge improvement. Oh, Spiteful Angel, thank you a lot for gifting 10 memberships to Turtle's Army. Appreciate that, Spiteful Angel. And those go to Car Enthusiast, Name It, Allah, Ryan Boyle, Dembalak 2, NY Steezy, Fugazi, 420, Malcontent Panda, Toast, and BM. Welcome, and may the shell be with you all. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot, Spiteful Angel. So the changes are very good overall. The changes are overall very good. As soon as I will figure out how the fishing works, I will drop a video to showcase some of those changes in game. As always, like those spare cards, combat changes, and this type of improvements, they may change. Like in the previous public test server variations, they introduced the first version of the changes, then we did run with them and test them, and that was rebalanced again before the final live release. So it is a subject to change. It's not guaranteed that as it is in those initial patch notes will hit the live game. That's the purpose of the PTS. We'll be testing that. I think tomorrow live stream I will do public test server live stream instead of regular. That's a lot. Like there is a lot of changes to take a look on. Is there anything particularly you are excited about? I think I generally like the direction they're going with the combat changes, the commando perks, rifleman perks being moved to do something specific rather than flat out increasing damage for weapon category. I'm curious if at some point heavy gunner perks gonna receive similar treatment and do some cool stuff for heavy guns rather than just flat damage increases. That's gonna be a bigger trend. It does kind of look like it. I like some of those changes. Definitely with the crippling mechanics actually meaning something now and removing enemies' exceptions from crippling. No more crafting builds, the best change. Yeah, I hope that's what they mean. Like they said no perk requirements for crafting, but are they keeping perk requirements for modifying weapons or removing those too? That's what I want to test as well. Rascal's saying a few years away from getting some synergy and build variety. We are already getting a better build variety than it was. Maybe with those changes as well, Commando can pick up a little bit. Commando and Rifleman, as those are underrepresented at this moment. Yeah, adrenal reaction change, I don't know why it's there. Yeah, about the science perks, yeah, those are interesting. I'm curious how good will be the damage scaling with intelligence. All right. Now, because that was a little bit of this article, a little bit of time needed. So let me jump to Discord, ask the turtle questions. Ask the turtle section on Discord. I will answer the questions before we run out of time for the Turtlecast. We still need to do the member hangout. I need to do my daily challenges. But customize your app. No, I don't want to change. What's that? I don't know. That don't see much of a difference. Oh, wait, is there some new notification on 76 announcements? Let's check that out. Radiation camp contest. Okay. 10,000 atoms you can win in radiation camp contest if you are a camp builder. So check Discord, followed 76 announcement on Bethesda Discord if you are a camp builder. Oh, and there is update on Monday, April 7th. Hotfix. Interesting, on Monday, not on Tuesday, on Monday. So let me switch the camera. Here it is. Monday. So there is a hotfix. There is a hotfix on Monday. And what is it, like grass popping on? I don't want to close it. Okay. Discord is getting too many updates from the other hand. Unnecessary ones. Okay, where did I stop on questions? Somewhere here, probably. Okay, let's switch that. All right. Faster fire rate of 50 crit for Gatling Plasma. Is infinite AP possible with faster fire rate? Yes, it is possible. Faster fire rate overall supposed to be better, but with the server lag, I prefer 50 crit, as firing slower helps to deal with server lag. So get me a conductor for my gunslinger. Which gun should I put it on? Using mostly Western Revolver and Crusader, but unsure which it would fit best. So for Crusader, whatever is firing faster, like conductors you only need for AP hungry weapon that you fire a lot. You don't need that for slow firing like a Western Revolver. So Western Revolver definitely wait for pinpointers. Crusader can work okay with conductors. The best candidates for conductors, that would be something like Alien Blaster or Gamma Gun, but Gamma Gun is a little bit gimmicky with those explosions. I updated my commando build already. Best mutations for a ghoul. I could make a video about it. The point is the kind of the best mutations is for a human. With just one exception, that adrenal reaction currently is not good for a ghoul. Next. Hey Turtle, I was wondering how much intelligence you would have with experience build as a ghoul, including the Nuka grenades and the Alder's Mark. Plus, what armor would you wear? Does it even matter? Armor doesn't really matter much. I would wear power armor probably. Currently, with my main human, I can go up to 74 intelligence, including all buffs and unyielding set with +2. It's not +1 anymore, +2 intelligence. So I want to know if it would be worth it to change into a ghoul, and so how close could I get to this? You will get 20 under that, so 12 intelligence less. So if you can hit 74 as a human, you would be able to hit 62 as a ghoul, which is less, but not end of the world. And you can run power armor for experience farming. Hello, Jules. And yes, I'm feeling better. I'm still not 100%. That this flu that I catch was the worst. Really the worst. 4 days continuous fever. But I'm definitely better now. Thank you for asking. Krogo. Hi, Turtle. I was building a new camp now that I'm a ghoul when I noticed that I was now able to place both a Collectron and Enclave Repair bot. I hope this is intended feature. Would you mind testing this, please? I heard about that. I didn't place mine yet. I need to remember and try to place mine. Any plans to play Atomfall? Maybe. I will see. I will see if I will squeeze in time. Will you post Gulmando? I already did, so that question happened before I did. It was delayed because, Angry Panda. Hey T, I got some info for you. When being a ghoul, you can go and get disguise, so when you want to remove, you have to click the same option you did putting it on. Fair pleasant. What? I don't know what that is. I know that you can get disguise. Am I missing a point? I'm not sure. Hello. A quick reminder to everyone, after the last update, Vulcan Power Armor still gives immunity to Reflection Mutation, tested on operations with Reflective Skin Mutation. Okay, thanks for update, Daniel. That's interesting immunity with this Power Armor. Very unintended feature, but welcome. Jason is saying, hey T, I've been getting the infinite loading bug a lot recently, so was just wondering if there's anything I could do to help myself on PC. Infinite loading bug, I don't know about solution for this one, unfortunately. I have no idea what's causing that. Next, hey AT and chat. Does anyone know what's causing the bug that makes you use up glow when you get kills, even though you're not using any cards that do that? That's some weird interaction with your bonus health, but how to get rid of that, I don't really know. Normally, when you get kills, you shouldn't lose the glow. On fast travel, it's happening for me to lose the glow on reloading the game, but not on kills. So I'm not sure. Unless you are being shot, then that would kill your glow. And next one, hello. I've done a lot of raids before Ghoul update and I'm still doing them on daily basis. I've noticed Bethesda did something wrong with phase 4 of the raid in the last update. Ultra Genetic Mole Miner is now slow as a turtle. No offense. Okay, I noticed. And almost every time some Morat or Myruk is blocked and head banging on the wall. One time I have a Morat spawn inside the wall. Fortunately, Blast from Brick Crystal did the job. I've always enjoyed this phase for the skills you have to have. Now I hate it because of these changes and bugs. Yeah, that's those are terrible changes. I don't think those are intended at all either. Loving that shredder build for the Guardian. Thanks, IT. You're welcome. Hi, I didn't use Star Genes in my Ghoul build, but I got unwanted mutations at the Queen event, though this wasn't possible. Bug. So that must be a bug. I did not get a single one, and I'm running without Star Genes. It may be related to a server lag when you freshly spawn in the new world before the game realizes you are a Ghoul. I'm not sure, but you shouldn't be able to get mutations. Next, I saw in one of your past live streams that you were benefiting from natural resistances as a ghoul from a human teammate sharing it. Are there any other human ghoul specific perks that can be shared like this? It would be cool to see some ghouls and humans working together and optimize the raid group. Yeah, they are. They are, including I heard that faulty spots can be shared from the ghoul to human, and that supposedly work. Most of sharing works from human to ghoul and not other way around. I'm not even sure how is it sometimes working from ghoul to humans, but from humans to ghoul, most stuff works. How do I get my hair so presentable? I don't know. My hair is not particularly great. At least I don't see it as great. And that's my barber that's taking care of that. Just visiting my barber every month or two. Hey Turtle, just wondering if the explosive prefix is good with Onslaught. How's it performing with explosive Gatling Plasma and Gauss Mini? Thanks. So it's good if you are using regular Onslaught, as that counts for additional stacks. It's bad with the reverse Onslaught, and explosive cannot really benefit from the part that increases damage to the weak spot, as explosive counts against torso, not a weak spot. So not fully benefiting from everything that Onslaught brings to the table, but it will double the speed in which you are applying stacks. I was not doing much testing with different builds on the Guardian. There was like no point. I did with the Shredder. So that's the one thing I did. Gatling Plasma definitely works too, but yeah, I don't have too much point in keep killing the Guardian. Like I have all the stuff that Guardian can drop. So I'm not really killing the Guardian to kill it. I'm using it as a test subject, a test dummy. You can farm raid for cams. Yes, you can. I usually have more cams from the raid than I can ever use. Why is AP Regen better with Company T Herbivore than Packing Light and Rejuvenated combined? That's because how it works. I have a full video explaining different types of AP regeneration, like the T versus Action Boy or Packing Light. Those are different effects. They both say AP regeneration, but those are different effects. Bro got all legendary weapons. Is that bad? I think everyone's supposed to have all legendary weapons, especially how easy it is to obtain them now. It was much harder in the past. Has there been any communication from Bethesda on patching the latest rounds of bugs? Yes, it's coming Monday. Sharpshooter's power armor jetpack. I'm using Vertibird, but is it better? I don't know. Is Arms Keeper perk broken or working as intended? It's broken. I swap out Bear Arms 3-star, 1-star 50%, and gives exactly the same weight reduction as before. Thrilled to have recouped 2 points, so hope it's intended. It is not. Like, the new Arms Keeper perk is giving you 90% reduction to all your weapons. That's not intended. That's not what the card says. So definitely backed, but positively. So at least one card that is backed in our favor. What is the best way to charge ultraside plasma cores? There is no way to charge them. They are 75% and they will be 75%. Nothing would work, no. They cannot be charged. Ultraside plasma cores cannot be charged. Only regular plasma cores have a charger at the camp. Is this normal? After I ate cooked softshell meat, my glow was gone. I was at half health and I needed to use a stim pack because toxic goo didn't heal me anymore. It's happening sometimes. It's the weird stuff with your health being recalculated that recalculates and then figures out that maybe you don't have glow. It's weird. It shouldn't be like that, but it is. So what can you do? Just always carry toxic goo, heal with a stim pack first, then apply toxic goo. That's the only way to deal with this problem. There's no other solution, unfortunately. Back to the chat. Yeah, ultra genetic stalker mole miners. If you get lucky, they all slow. That's true. Does Bully's legendary work with minigun shredder against Guardian Shield? No. The the Guardian Shield is not a weak spot. The Guardian Health, the main Guardian torso part, is a weak spot. Yeah, Shredder on stage 3 Enclave dudes, absolutely devastating here. It is incredibly powerful. And to everyone who's saying that Autoaxe is doing more, those people are usually comparing the damage on screen. Damage numbers of on screen are not accurate for the Shredder. For example, in the video that I did with the Shredder, you were able to see up to 1k damage on the Guardian test. Actual damage was about 7k, about 7k per tick. So 7k per tick, so you are going into the neighborhood of over 100k DPS. Hello, Jeremy, and everything is going good now. Thank you very much. And you back. You changed to human lately and noticed toxic goo is extremely bad at giving rads. What? You need 3 to get nerd rage? I think the toxic goo was overall nerfed. Amount of radiation toxic goo is giving was reduced with the ghoul update. It was reduced. Like toxic goo is now a little bit better than toxic water. It used to be a big gap between the two. They reduced the gap from toxic water to toxic goo. It's just toxic goo is now just a little bit better. So that's not really related to change back to human. I do plan to change back to human soon to see how that's gonna work. Hopefully, I will not discover any bugs. I don't want to discover any bugs. I want to normally change and see how it's gonna go. I know that you can insta-kill the Guardian Shield with melee. That's probably one of the reasons they changing and removing instantaneous crippling mechanics from Fallout 76 with next patch. So there'd be only limb damage bonuses, no insta crippling. Commander Rifleman and Science perks only for small guns? Yeah, I think so. Although it's not specified, not specifying the notes. That would be odd if this kind of a perk would work with heavy guns. That would make heavy guns even more powerful. And they're already the most powerful. Okay, so that's everything for the Turtlecast. It was a little bit longer than usually. But now we are heading for a member hangout to do our dailies. Yeah, I need to do my dailies. I still not rank 150. Although there is time. The update dropped like 2 weeks ago. So we have time. I still want to grind it. I like to hit my rank 150 and then relax about it. So I think I answered all the questions. Hopefully, you will see each other tomorrow, really soon. So Saturday, we'll test the fishing. We'll test the fishing a little bit more, the fishing update. Oh, Jules, thank you a lot for 5 quid. Appreciate that. And Foxy saying number one on the poster. Thank you, Jules. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have an amazing weekend, everyone, and see you tomorrow. Bye. And we are heading for member